Okay, so in my island update for this week, I'm going to be talking about a crackdown that you didn't see coming. Plus, I've got my take on the hotel protests taking place over here in Mallorca in the next couple of weeks. We're also going to talk about a hotel warning which I have received by email, and I've got cruise news and the all-important weather forecast for the week ahead. But you can see I'm down here on the very beautiful Magaluf beach today. I'm back in the Food and Essa cafe. I've got my first frappuccino for the summer as well, because temperatures are heating up over here in Mallorca, but more about that later on in this video. But first, we're going to be talking about what's almost an unbelievable piece of news in the press today, and it's getting plenty of press attention. And if you've watched my content as well from over the year, from over in the Playa de Palma, if you've seen my videos from Palma, in the centre of Palma, around the cathedral area, you'll know that we've got literally thousands of illegal street sellers operating on the island. Now, it seems that in 2025 the situation has got worse with illegal street sellers. I've seen more street sellers than ever before, and the situation is literally out of control, and it seems that nothing can be done about it. There doesn't seem to be a policy in place to remove these people from the streets selling their illegal wares. And as of today, it's been widely announced that holidaymakers will now face a €750 fine if they're caught buying anything from these illegal street sellers. So this means if you're buying, say you're down in the Playa de Palma, you see the illegal street sellers, they're selling football shirts, they're selling holiday shirts, holiday souvenirs, you could be fined if you buy anything from them. Also, this also applies to illegal cocktail sellers who walk down the beaches selling their really badly made cocktails. It also applies as well to the massage services that you see on the beaches too. Now, what is really surprising about all of this is that the whole illegal street seller scene, as I've said, it has got worse. We're seeing more of them out on the resorts. You're seeing them even up on the Playa de Moro selling sarongs, selling jewellery. You know, I mean, all of these traders need a legal licence to operate. And at the end of the day as well, they're taking money away from the legitimate legal businesses that are also selling the same things as well, except these guys are paying rent in buildings, they're paying the taxes, they're paying automno, and they're paying staff. Now, I just find it absolutely incredible that the whole onus for this now is being passed on to the holidaymakers. So if you buy from these guys, you're going to receive a big fine. But what's happening to the illegal street sellers? Why aren't they being cleared off the streets? Well, I don't know, because I've seen down in the Playa de Palma, I've seen the police just cruise by them, allowing the street sellers to sell their wares and advertising their wares as well. I've seen the police do absolutely nothing about it. I mean, you guys tell me, why aren't the police arresting these guys? From what I can see, or from what I've heard, sometimes these guys receive fines, then they're let out again to go and trade again. So it doesn't seem that very much is being done, and by just collecting fines from you guys as well, from buying from them, I just think's absolutely crazy. So I'm going to highlight this. But the reality is, before we all get quite upset about this and start saying that you're not welcome over here in Mallorca, I have to say that there doesn't seem to be the police resources, and I'm now waiting. I'm sitting in the prime position here where we should be seeing a police car coming down the side of the beach. Normally when I'm doing my island updates, and when I was filming these island updates last year, we pretty much always saw police patrols taking place, and I have seen a marked decrease of police patrols and the police presence out in the resorts. You will have seen my video about pickpockets or pickpocketers operating in Mallorca just a couple of weeks ago, and I have to say, I was down in Calador the other day for an entire day. I didn't see one single policeman. So I'd say that pretty much no one's actually going to get fined. If you are buying anything, whether it's a hat or sunglasses or a dodgy bag from these illegal street sellers, I'll be very surprised if you pick up a fine. But like I said, let me know if you have been fined, or if indeed you see any police out this summer. Also as well, it's not just the selling of these t-shirts or the items that you see being sold on the resorts or down the beaches. We're also talking about parking valets as well, the illegal parking valets. You'll see them in Palma, down in the La Lonca area. area. You're trying to find a parking space. In fact, you'll see a parking space, you'll see it's empty, you'll drive to it, and then someone will try and guide you into that spot which you've already seen and you're driving to. You don't actually need their help, and then they'll ask you for money for that service. Obviously you're not going to get fined for using a parking valet, but there are just so many illegal activities taking place on the island. Once again, it's just taking away from everyone who's trying to work legitimately over here. Okay, so I'm just cutting this into my island update here because I've actually finished filming. I've left Magaluf Beach and I'm just coming down the back end of Magaluf Strip going back to my car. Now, as I was leaving the beach, I saw a car parked, and in the back of the car, in the boot of the car, I saw some illegal cocktails, some dodgy cocktails being made up in the boot of that car, very unhygienically as well, soon to be sold down on Magaluf Beach. Now, during the whole recording of my island update, we didn't see one single police patrol. Last year, there were plenty of police cars, whether it's the local police or the Guardia Civil, patrolling down the back of the beach. Didn't see one today at all. Not only that, any of the holidaymakers buying those illegally made drinks from the illegal street sellers, the illegal traders over here on Magaluf Beach, no one's going to be picking up a fine today. And well, that's just it. Are we seeing fewer police out on the streets? Like I said, I didn't see a single policeman over in Calador when I was out there last week. Let's see if it changes. Going on into the summer, I shall report back. In the meantime, consider subscribing to the channel for all the real news that you're going to find appearing here in Mallorca. Anyway, back to the islands update. Let's move on to talk about the proposed hotel protests, which are due to take place on the 6th of June. And this comes hot on the heels actually of my video from last week, talking about the sensationalist nonsense that we've seen in the mainstream media. And literally almost about 24 hours after that video came out, there's more news coverage about further protests taking place on the islands. And I'm actually quite reluctant to talk about this. But anyway, I did get an email. It's from a chap called Chris. He says, "Hi Alex, can you tell us on your YouTube what is really happening about the hotel protests?" Well, the first thing I'm going to say is let's see what the mainstream media have been telling you, because in the Daily Express they have said, "Spain holiday update as a massive hotel strike spells chaos for British holiday makers." The Mirror says, "Brits warned of holiday island's summer of chaos as hotel staff plan mass walkout days." The Daily Mail, always reliable here, say, "Huge hotel strikes set to hit Brits' favourite holiday islands over peak summer season." Gosh, it's exhausting, isn't it? Every week I'm coming on here to tell you what's actually going on here. So what's going on about the hotel protests? Well, there will be an assembly at the UGT Union. Don't know what UGT stands for, but at the UGT Union headquarters. And following this, there will be a rally outside the Hoteliers Federation offices due to take place on the 6th of June. Now, hopefully before the 6th of June, and we have got some days running up to the 6th of June, they may be able to reach agreement on what hotel staff are going to be paid throughout the island or throughout Spain. If the agreement is reached, no hotel protests will be taking place. But if there is going to be a protest taking place, it would be taking place outside, like I said, the Hotel Federation's offices. So if this goes ahead, these protests will take place on Calle Aragon, which is it's not actually in the centre of Palma, it's a little bit outside of the centre of Palma, on the 6th of June. It's not the mass protests that are being reported either. And if you have a look here on Google Maps, you're going to see actually that the Hotel Federation's offices are placed far away from where you're going to be going if you're visiting Palma for the day. They lie right on the other side of Avenidas, which is the ring road which goes around Palma Old Town, and 99.9% of holidaymakers who are visiting Palma for the day are going to be in the Old Town area in the centre of Palma. These protests won't be taking place in the centre, and you're not even going to see them either, because it will just be a protest taking place outside the offices, and that's if they go ahead in the first place. And this is why I'm reluctant to talk about this, because an agreement may well be hammered out well before this, but the press won't be telling you that. They're just going to tell you to be scared if you come over here. So the last time I was actually in London, I remember seeing outside the Apple store on Regent Street, there's a protest about something, and that's probably going to be like the size of it. that wasn't in the newspapers, that wasn't in the Daily Mail or the Mirror or the Express warning holidaymakers coming to London that there's going to be a rally taking place outside of the Apple Store on Regent Street. I mean, it was just a protest, and this is going to follow in the same vein. And it is about, once again, it's all about affordability. It's about hotels and other businesses paying their workers a decent living wage as well, to be able to afford to live on the island. We know how expensive it's got here. Will an agreement be reached? Well, let's hope so. And please don't worry, I will keep following this story for you. We're going to see what happens, but for the time being, I think we can safely say that there's not going to be big protests happening in the resorts, and your hotels are going to keep operating. You're not going to wake up one morning and find out that you can't get breakfast or anything like that in your hotel. So please don't worry about it. You know, it's a protest for a couple of hours in a day, and of course 99.9% of hotel workers are going to be working as normal that day, so please don't worry. However, the only thing I can guarantee, and the one thing that you should be very, very scared about actually, is what you're reading in the mainstream media. Every single time we get these stories coming out, and I can pretty much guess that, you know, within 24 hours of me making this video, we're going to see something else in the press. It's going to be more cause for concern for you as well to worry about. I'll get messages about it asking for my take on it, and I'm going to say the same thing. Don't believe what you're reading in the mainstream media. Come back here to my island updates every Monday, and I'll let you know what's really going on here on the island. Okay, right, let's move on now to a hotel warning which I have had, and it's about and it's actually about the Bellevue complex up in Alcudia. You may know that I made a video about this hotel a few weeks ago. If you want to find out more about it, I'll drop a link to that video in the description text below this video. But it's a warning that a holidaymaker has received about student groups arriving in this hotel accommodation. And they received an email from Jet2 warning that a large student group will be staying in the hotel between June the 8th and June the 30th over at the Bellevue Bonita and Club Resort. Now, this email from Jet2 states, Jet2 holiday customers will be placed in blocks away from the student group, and all facilities will remain open to customers during this time. So every single year up at the Bellevue and around this time, they normally receive student groups over at the complex, and it does get a little bit rowdy, and not enough teaching staff to allow it not to get rowdy. So this is just a warning. If you're expecting a quiet holiday over at the Bellevue, you might not get it. You may want to change your accommodation, and look out for these emails as well. You get student groups arriving in many of the hotels. They're normally 3-star hotels around the island, sometimes over in Arenal. I think there are a few down in Santa Ponsa, so take a look out as well, because this could affect your holiday. If you've been saving up all year and you're hoping to come over for a quiet holiday, just bear that in mind and maybe consider changing your accommodation if that's going to affect you. But once again, check with your tour operator. Okay, so let's move on to take a look at the cruise ships arriving over here in Palma Port for this week. In case you're planning a trip into Palma, you want to plan a day trip into Palma, you want to know the best time to visit. Well, I've got a first for this week, and this is going to be on Wednesday for this week. There are going to be no big cruise ships coming into the port. So if you're over here on holiday for this week, I would say head into Palma on Wednesday, and you're going to have a relatively quiet day. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I might actually go in myself actually. But the busiest day in Palma this week for cruise ships is going to be on Saturday. We're going to be seeing the Ida Cosma and the Morella Voyager. We're going to have a total number of 8,000 cruise passengers arriving in Palma Port on Saturday. Saturday is going to be the busiest time this week for visiting Palma. The rest of the week isn't looking too bad either, but like I said, maybe try Wednesday if you're wondering what day to get that bus into Palma city centre. Okay, finally, I've also got some amazingly fantastic news as well about the weather forecast for the week ahead. It's got to be the best weather forecast actually that we've seen all year, and that is that we're approaching the meteorological start of the summer season on June the 1st, and with that as well, we've got some amazing weather coming. We have 0 chance of rain this week. We may get a little bit of clouds here and there during the course of the week, but that's going to be your lot in terms of bad weather. We will be, however, expecting very, very warm temperatures as the week goes ahead. It's going to really heat up as we hit the weekend. We've got temperatures of 30 degrees hitting us on Friday and Saturday, probably Sunday too. Evenings aren't going to be so hot just yet, a little bit fresh on the evenings. We've got lows of 16 degrees and it's a little bit windy as well on the island as well, particularly in coastal areas. We've got a little bit of a keen breeze down the far end of Magaluf Beach this morning. So I'm going to put out my warning now. If you're buying sun cream, don't buy it unless it's a factor 50. It will protect your skin if you're coming over here on holiday. The last thing you want to do is burn on day one, and that's just going to ruin your entire break. So if not, it's widely sold over here in all of the resorts, so cover up before you go out into the sunshine. Okay everyone, that is it. That is my island update for this week. I will be back next Monday with more news from over here in Mallorca. I'd love to know what you think about this in the comments section below. You will also see appearing both here and here on YouTube a couple of other videos to help you out with your holiday. But in the meantime, you can find me on the Facebook group and on my Instagram, also called Mallorca Under the Sun. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Goodbye for now.